SMB Cifs is the de facto file sharing protocol in the Microsoft Windows world. Technically speaking, the protocol is SMB, an acronym for Server Message Block, but it was historically called Cifs, Common Internet File System, and that terminology stuck around, with most people probably still referring to it as Cifs. And while being the de facto file sharing protocol in the Windows world, the Samba software suite allows Linux-based systems to connect to and to use SMB Cifs shares and resources. So, Cifs resources can be accessed by Linux clients. It's worth pointing out at this point as well that NFS resources can also be accessed by Windows servers as long as they have an NFS client installed, and Microsoft ships with most versions of Windows its own native NFS client. Now back to SMB. SMB works in a very similar way to NFS. It's implemented in the same client-server model where resources on an SMB server are shared over IP networks and mounted by systems running SMB clients. If the SMB client is a Microsoft Windows machine, the shared folder is normally mounted to a drive letter, something like F, G, H, or any other available drive letter on the SMB client machine. So now if you see any references to UNC paths, you know that they take the format // name of the server / shared folder. Also, like NFS version 4, SMB is a rich protocol when it comes to features and security. SMB implements strong access control lists based on NTFS file permissions that are used to allow or deny access to shared resources based on user accounts and group membership. For example, if a folder is shared over the network and the access control list or the ACL is configured so that only members of the finance group can access the contents of the folder, if your user account is not a member of the finance group, you won't be able to browse or access the contents of that shared folder. SMB also supports Kerberos version 5 for authentication, integrity and privacy, or end-to-end encryption. Other features include quotas, branch caching and many other things. Quotas allow you to restrict how much storage capacity a user account or a group can consume. And branch caching allows a subset of your overall data to be cached by a local SMB appliance, such as having maybe your shared folders in a centralized data center being accessed by SMB clients in a remote branch office. Now, instead of every request for a resource having to go all the way from the remote branch office all the way to the central data center, branch caching allows data accessed frequently by SMB clients in the branch offices to be cached locally for faster access to that data. Okay, so that's enough on SMB Cifs. Now let's talk about NAS appliances.